Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Now we are going to discuss about a recent topic, that is the light combat helicopters that India is planning to develop, and India is also planning to later on launch them and make them the part of the Indian force. So we are basically going to discuss briefly about how development of light combat helicopters began in India, what was the reason behind this, and also what are the major or important features of these indigenous helicopters. So first of all, why this particular issue is in news is because the Cabinet Committee on Security, that is on Wednesday, that is March 30, approved the procurement of 15 indigenously developed light combat helicopters. As per the estimate of Cabinet Committee on Security, it is believed that these light combat helicopters will be developed at the cost of 3,887 crore. And along with this, they will need to develop infrastructure that will also cost around 377 crores. The decision about this project was made at the Cabinet Committee on Security, which is chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, if we look at the background that why it was felt by the government of India that they need to develop light combat helicopters, the first time the need of such helicopters arose in the Kargil War of year 1999, when Pakistani army attacked Indian territory and tried to capture a lot of mountainous regions and the peaks of the Kashmir. It was during that time, since the Pakistani were occupying the higher points or higher parts of the Kashmir and Himalayas, at that time the Indian government or Indian army as well as the Air Force did not have such helicopters that can fly up to such higher altitudes and can provide reinforcement, provide logistics, and even can land military personnel on those altitudes. So, because of the lack of such helicopters, Indian military has to largely depend on the Mi-17 helicopters, which was Russian design helicopters that were not suitable for such high altitude flight. And it is due to these reasons that a lot of helicopters of Indian military or Indian Air Force was destroyed when the enemy forces attacked by the anti-rocket missiles as well as the grenades. So, on this particular background, in year 2006, the Hindustan Aeronautic Limited announced that they are going to, or they are developing an intention to develop a light combat helicopter which will be developed indigenously and will have capabilities to fly up to high altitudes of Himalayas. Now, the development and progress phase of light combat helicopters has progressed in this particular way. After the announcement by HAL in year 2006, in the year 2010, the first ground run as well as the first flight test of the helicopter prototype was done by HAL, which was largely successful. Then in year 2011 to 14, in this time period, the next prototype, second and third prototype was launched, and then for the first time the LCH was made public at the Aero India that was held in Bangalore. And further, in the next third prototype, they tried to integrate the weapon platforms and sensor in the light combat helicopters that also were largely successful. Further, between 2019 to 20, the LCH that were developed by HAL were put into operational deployment, and in this year actually the LCH production hangar was we can say inaugurated by the Defense Minister, the then Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, and the LCH production hangar is situated in the Bangalore, and it is believed that it will be able to produce 30 helicopters per year for the need of Indian military forces. Now, what are the major features of light combat helicopters? So, the first important features is that it has maximum possible commonality with the advanced light helicopters. That means other countries like US, UK, China have advanced light helicopters that can fly up to altitude of 7 kilometers, 8 kilometers. So the commonality between those helicopters and indigenously developed LCH are very high. Apart from that, these helicopters also last with several stealth features. A stealth feature is a feature of any aircraft that if it is deployed, it will not come under the identification of radar. So that becomes very, very important if any fighter jet aircraft or helicopters are taking part in reconnaissance operation during the wartime. Apart from that, helicopter is also last with armor protection against attack by the enemy cells and enemy bullets. Then it also has night attack capabilities and crash-worthy landing gear. The helicopter will be driven by 2 Shakti engines, and apart from that, it also has electronic warfare suit so that it can actually destabilizes or damages the electronic capacity of the enemies For example, if the enemies are having certain sort of communication with each other, then that capacity can be minimized or can be demolished, and that will give upper hand to the Indian military. Apart from that, if you look at the range of helicopter, it can fly up to 550 kilometers per hour with a maximum velocity of 268 kilometers per hour. The maximum altitude up to which LCH can go up is about 6.5 kilometers. And not only this, LCH also has a missile system that is both, it can fire air-to-air missile as well air-to-ground missile to destroy the enemy target. Now, if we talk about that, what are the areas in which the light combat helicopters can be deployed? So, as per the scientists of HAL who are involved in the development of this helicopter, they believe that this helicopter, once fully developed, will be very well suited for anti-tank role, wherein it can fly low and fast to attack the enemy armor columns and destroy them. Apart from that, it also can be involved in air defense roles and destruction of enemy air defense assets. Not only that, it can be used in urban warfare missions and combat, and even in the search and rescue operations in terms of disaster or any kind of war. Not only that, even in peacetime, these helicopters can be used and it are very suitable for the scouting role, where it can fly ahead of the advancing columns of the army and detect the enemy presence beforehand and then relay the message back to the base, and then Indian military and Indian army can take appropriate action based on the reconnaissance and the scouting operation. So that is regarding the deployment and the overall importance of light combat helicopters that are being developed by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So that is all for today. We will come again soon with another interesting topic. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.